And she told me to come to Texas. I don't know why she told me that. I packed my shit. But a couple weeks later, I packed my shit and told my cousin, hey man, you can do whatever you want to do with the rest of the shit in this apartment, man. You know, it's all yours. You can have the deposit and everything else. You know, and I went to Texas, man. Whatever I can put in my car, I went to Texas. You know. Now that was a weird thing too, though. While I was on parole, I got my driving license first. And I told my parole officer, and she was like, her manager, her supervisor came by. She said, he got his driving license. Like, she wasn't expecting me to get my license after being locked up. So I said, I'm just trying to do what normal people do out. And that's what normal people do in society. Get their driving license. That's all I'm trying to do. Be normal. So maybe about a month and a half, 2 months later, I got me a car. And I whispered to my parole officer. I ain't wanted to get too excited with the news. I said, I got a car. I said, you sure you can handle the insurance, the registration? I said, isn't that what normal people do? They get their license, they get a car, they pay for the insurance and registration, and they drive around and go to work and do normal things. And that's what normal people do. I'm just trying to do what normal people do. Miss Melody, that's all I'm trying to do. She was just so flabbergasted, you know what I'm saying, that I was able to do that. Get my license, get a car, build my credit up. I knew business. I got a business degree. I know economics. I just had to learn people. But how institutions work and all that, I never had no problem. I didn't have no problem with that. Because business deals with all institutions. Whether it's a nonprofit, for-profit, whatever, underworld, whatever, it's still business. So I didn't have no problem with that part. So, but that was just, I just got a chuckle out of that, how she was just so amazed at me getting my license and getting a car, I guess so soon in her mind, And, but I didn't have nobody. I had to make moves. I was sink or swim. I was in sink or swim mode. I had to step up and make it happen for myself. But my advice to anybody that get out of prison, if you ain't got no license, get you some driving license. And as soon as you get you some driving license, when you first get out, start building up your credit. Get you a secure credit card for $500, whatever, spend it down halfway, pay it back off at the end of the month. Just keep doing that for 5 or 6 months. You get around 600 something credit score. Good credit, so it's lower end, but it's still good credit. Get you the credit score, get your driver's license. As soon as you get your credit score up there in good range, get you a car. Because a lot of the jobs that I was getting at the temp agency were outside the bus line. If you want to get a decent job, working in the factories and stuff like that, they was outside the bus line. Not that far outside, but they nevertheless was outside the bus line. When I first started, before I bought my car, before I got my license, I can remember this day as clear as yesterday. Early one morning, I had my bike, because you can put your bike on the front of the bus. It was winter time, but it wasn't snowing or nothing like that. It was cold, but I had my bike. It was kind of dark in the morning. I had some appointments to make. So I start off my day real early. So I'm at the bus stop. I'm seeing people go to work. They driving to work. Thousands of cars, hundreds of cars pass me up. And I remember telling myself, I said, I know I'm smarter than half these people that's driving by me this morning. There's no doubt in my mind that I'm smarter than half of these people that's passing me by this morning. And I said to myself, this time next year, I'm gonna have me a car. And I'll be damned if I didn't have one by that time next year. I was determined. I just had to apply myself. That's all. I had to apply myself. But get the car. Build your credit up, get your driving license, get you a car. It puts you in the game. It puts you in the game to handle your business, to be on top of your business. You know, if you're trying to come up, productively, as a law-abiding citizen, you need a car, man. You need a car, 'cause that's all the good jobs outside the bus line, So I met this girl in Nashville, and she told me, come to Texas. 2 weeks later, I had packed my car up, everything I wanted. I could put in my car that I wanted. I left everything out. I went to Texas. And hooked up with her. It lasted about 10 months. And I didn't like the way how things were evolving. Started out good as hell, then all of a sudden, the Wicked Witch of the West came out the bitch, you know what I'm saying? The woman, And so I left, man. And I came back to Tennessee, where I'm from, Came back to Tennessee, Memphis. Because I would have stayed in Texas on my own. But they was discriminating against me too. They was using my background. They wouldn't let me do my thing, man. They wouldn't let me teach my class. They wouldn't let me get in the program. They was cruel, man. Society was cruel to me, man, when I got out, man. Then I went to Tennessee, man. Went with my cousin for a few weeks, man. She kicked me out. Said I had to go. 3 days later, I had my own place. I was like, damn. So I'm trying to get plugged into these programs, these organizations, trying to teach my class, wouldn't nobody let me in, man. Wouldn't nobody let me in, man. And just always made me realize, do y'all really give a damn about y'all constituents? Do you know who you turning down? Do you know the magnitude of the program that I can bring to your organization? And how beneficial that is to your constituents, your clients? They wouldn't let me in, man. Still today, they ain't let me in. So I gotta try a new approach, social media approach. Teach classes on social media. I think it's one of the great equalizers, for people like myself who've been marginalized, to the edges of society because of, past transgressions, if you will, and America no longer believe in the redemptive quality of people, of human beings anymore. You get a felony, you done. You're no good, you wipe you off the planet Earth. You're damaged goods for life. And that's the way it is. And they justify that. When you got that criminal record, they justify not hiring you. It's in every policy, hiring policy. You got this, you can't. What can I say? So I had to try another avenue. Now that I feel a little more comfortable being out here and kind of have been able to observe society for some years, for several years now, I feel more comfortable now navigating in this new era, of culture and technology. And so hopefully with the launch of my channel, that I'll get enough interest in my channel that I would send links, to some of my classes and that I facilitate and that you might find interesting as well. And so, and up until this point, I'm out. Like I said, I went to Tennessee. I still couldn't make it. I come back to Michigan. I know Michigan's the automotive capital of the world. I know there's industry jobs linked to the automotive industry, all kind of plants linked to the automotive industry, thousands of plants linked to the automotive industry in this state. And, and even though I'm working through the temp agency, they probably never hire me, but still, there's gonna always be automotive work, and it ain't the top paying job, but it's like the middle paying job. It ain't the lowest paying job, but it's a middle paying job. And it's enough to keep your basics up, and you can make a few moves if you manage and budget your money right. You can make a few moves, So it ain't as bad as it may seem, on some levels, And so as I'm moving forward, I'm back in Michigan and settling down, working my jobs, and doing pretty good. Trying to live a little bit, I ain't trying to catch up, but I'm trying to live a little bit, but at the same time, sustain my basics, And so I found myself working 2 jobs, and and a lot of times I didn't have time just to work and sleep for a long time. For a long time. But you have to take responsibility for your actions in life, man. Yes, I'm disappointed that society is attempting to relegate me to the margins of life, though I refuse to be relegated to the margins of life because I'm giving pushback, and I'm functioning at a higher level where I don't have to actually, allow myself to give up to whereas that's where I'm stuck at on the margins of life. I keep hearing in my head the James Brown, get on up, get on up. You got to get on up, man. Every day, you got to get on up and make something happen, man, for yourself. You got to make yourself accessible to people. You got to knock on doors, and there are going to be 1,000 no's. But you just have to believe that there's a yes out there for you somewhere. And I always believe that. No matter how many no's, I got it since I've been out. I always knew that there's a yes somewhere out there for me, out here for me. And it's those yes that's been keeping me above water since I've been out. You know, it's those yeses that's been keeping me above water since I've been out. And so it's around, so I come back to Michigan around 2019. 2020, COVID hit. I'm still working. 21, still working. 22, still working. February, like I told you earlier, you know, at the end of the previous episode, that I was just scratching the surface. February the 1st of 2022, last year, I was diagnosed with stage 4 colorectal cancer and given 2 years to live. We are in February now. I think the day is maybe, what's the day? Tuesday, the 21st. So, in man's estimation, I have less than a year to live. I don't believe that because the chemo was working remarkably well with me. You know, since I've been taking it, I don't feel any